Imagine a future where capitalists control everything and despotic monarchs reign supreme. I know, it sounds fantastic, and thanks to the Outerworlds 2, we don't need to imagine it. We can actually play it in video game form. From the folks at Obsidian Entertainment, who are to blame for the Fallout New Vegas fandom, comes this RPG, and I absolutely love it. This game has been out for over a year. It's been updated and patched by developers to make sure that it's a perfectly balanced game with absolutely no exploits. But I am the Spiffing Brit, and I can break any game. So today I'm going to demonstrate how to become a living god with the power of explosion! But first, a word from our sponsors. The internet is a scary place where your personal information can and will be used against you. From targeted scams to identity theft, the more you have out there, the easier it is to be duped. So that's where 𝙃𝙀𝙀𝙀 comes in, an online tool that wields consumer protection law as a weapon against data brokers. When using the internet, we leave all sorts of information behind. Things like where we live, what we believe in, and what our finances look like. You'd be amazed what you can find out just by Googling yourself. Of course, this information leads to things like really targeted and annoying scam calls. It seems that every other day, some website or app that is storing our data has been hacked, and that data can then be used against us. Personally, I don't want to be upcharged travel insurance because my fitness app makes me look like a couch potato. It's best we keep that information to ourselves, don't you think? But it doesn't have to be this way. 𝙃𝙀𝙀𝙀, with your approval, will begin the process of taking down your information and automatically supporting your future online anonymity. Of course, the entire thing can be heavily customized, so that way you're in control of what you choose to present online. So use the code SpiffingBrit at checkout, or use my link 𝙃𝙀𝙀𝙀.com/SpiffingBrit. You will get 60% off an annual plan. So if that sounds of interest to you, check out 𝙃𝙀𝙀𝙀 today. Right, onwards with the video. Welcome into the game, ladies and gentlemen. Look, it's Dr. Splosion. Here he is on his wonderful ship. To give you a quick rundown of the lore of this game, we're in space on a wonderful ship called the Incognito, floating through a sector of the galaxy that previously was under the despotic rule of an absolute monarchy. We were sent in on an operation to steal some secret technology, but it all went wrong. We were betrayed, and now we're left stranded with one surviving friend of ours, hunting down a rogue agent who betrayed us and the Earth Directorate who we work for. Basically, we're the space police. Now, to make the situation even more complicated, a massive capitalist faction has decided to muscle into the galaxy to try and corporatize the entire thing. So it's off to Eden we go, to land right in the middle of Auntie's Choice and the Protectorate, on a quest to hunt down a rogue agent. Oh, it's all a good bit of thrilling sci-fi. Anyway, right, fantastic. We've landed on the planet. Over there, we can see some kind of, corporate city. And so, of course, we have to go there to make some friends. And here we are, arriving at the lovely Fairfield. And we've been greeted by our first NPC, a corporate trooper. Now, she's going to ask me to identify myself because I've just arrived at this city. Now, if I had a good speech skill, I could probably schmooze my way in here. But instead, I picked the trait dumb. And so that means I can say that I can identify myself. After all, I'm right here. Now please step aside. And fantastic, we come off so stupid we're not a spy. So there we go, we gain a bit of positive reputation, but now we need to truly begin the game. The way this map works is pretty simple. The end quest of the region exists here inside of this relay, where we'll find some very important information. The problem is fighting our way inside of there, or even getting there, will be very difficult, and we'll want to level up, gain new skills, new equipment, and everything before we could even attempt it. So with that in mind, it's time to meet some of the main characters of the game. This is DB Milverstreet. He's fantastic. He basically runs the local town. He wants to know what I desire of this island. We got a few options to get to the Vox relay, but as I'm dumb, it's actually the Socks relay. I saw the Socks. So basically, we've agreed that we'll work for Minister Milverstreet here by infiltrating an old Protectorate facility to steal its information, so that way he can learn how to correctly brainwash people. However, of course, because this is an RPG with no limitations, I'm going to stand stand behind him and pickpocket a super special keycard of his I would normally only get by completing his quest line. We can then stand behind Acquisitions Officer Carr here and pickpocket her as well, and steal her war chest key. Basically, yes, we're able to loot the quest reward items off of both of these people without having to do their quest. It's fantastic. So immediately we're going to wander on over to the military camp over here and break my kneecaps on the way. So yes, if we make our way over here, we can find this loot box that is locked, but thanks to our pickpocketing skill, we can open it and get one of the single most overpowered weapons in the game, the burst biomass pistol. This thing will carry you through the entire first world. It's utterly filthy. So yes, using pickpocketing, we've been able to get our hands on a good weapon, but we're also going to be able to loot from 𝙃𝙀𝙀 special supply case, which we can find inside of his house, locked away in this absolutely massive safe. Oh look, it's a designated triple barrel shotgun. Yes, remember ladies and gentlemen, it's always best to play every single game as a kleptomaniac lunatic. Speaking of stealing shiny things, there's one item Dr. Splosion wants above all, and that is the bomb suit, a unique bit of armor that protects from explosions. But there's one issue, it's inside of that base over there, and crossing the distance to it and defeating those enemies, well, that's going to be an impossible death trap. We have next to no armor, meaning we stand little to no chance. Luckily though, I got the premium version of the game, and so I have my fancy Moonman hat that provides damage resistance, scaling with the amount of money I have. There's just one issue. This game is a closed loop RPG, so I can't max out this ability for a long time. But when has pesky developers designing a balanced experience ever stopped me? No! I am the Spiffing Brit and I can break anything! In fact, all I'm going to need is a fridge. So if you want to break the game's economy, all you need to do is head to the starting village of Fairfield and find this house here, next to 𝙃𝙀𝙀's home. And this home is very special because it has a fridge. I know! You'll notice that it has a very nice large amount of bits inside of it, as well as 28 bracelets and dehydrated water. How suspicious! Well, we're going to do what all good kleptomaniacs would do and steal the 1,500 bits lying around. I mean, that's an insane reward. Most missions don't even have that in the game. But there's something very special about this fridge, because if I simply drop down a save and then load that save right back up, because we're now in a loading screen, the game reloads the location of Fairfield, which in turn reloads the fridge? Yes, it does. That's right. It's truly fantastic. It's not even the only container in the game that does it. Fairfield has about 3, this one's just the most effective. Now this happens every single time Fairfield is reloaded, which means one of the easiest ways to do it is just to fast travel to Fairfield. By loading ourselves back here, Fairfield is reloaded. We can then do it again. Fantastic. That's Fairfield loaded twice. How about a third time? And a fourth? So after reloading the area a couple of times, we can then come back to this building and lo and behold, ooh, there's 224 bits inside of it. Fantastic. So we're now up to nearly 8,000 bits in our inventory, but as I mentioned, we're going to want quite a few things. We're going to want more grenades and more money, because as we all know, the more money you have, the more resistant you are to any damages that could come your way. Now, of course, I could sit here like a normal person and reload this location over and over again, but that takes time. And as a YouTuber, I have a lot of time, so yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. See you all after I've finished wasting my finite existence on this glorious planet. Well, I am back, ladies and gentlemen, after having loaded and unloaded 1,000,000 times. Oh, we have 33,000 bits lying around. With all of this extra money, I'm going to grab one more perk before we storm that bridge. The Pitch Tossball Winger, giving us an extra 20% explosive damage, but also, if we physically hit an enemy with a grenade, we stun them and deal damage. I've made sure to create this piece of equipment here, which gives me 50% damage resistance against explosives, and combined with our premium Moonman helmet, I think we should be ready to go. So basically, the Protectorate are not going to allow me to cross the bridge, which is completely understandable. I mean, after all, they are military forces who are here to try and defend said bridge. There's just one issue. I'm going to hit them with grenades. So, grenade after grenade after grenade after grenade after grenade. Hello, welcome to Dr. Splosion's happy land of mega fun. Oh, that's an enemy in front of me. Have a grenade. Oh, you, sir, you haven't got a grenade. Catch. There you go, get stunned. Goodbye. Now, as you can tell, I did still almost die. That's because despite having my increased damage resistance from my hat, the game is just quite difficult. There's just a couple more enemies left. There you go, catch. Ow. And splendid, just one enemy remains inside of this room. So goodbye, catch that instead, sir. Oh, you need another one, right? Get stunned. We did it! Splendid! We can now lower the bridge and begin the very important process of looting this environment, because down here inside of this lovely military base is this door here, which we can of course explode our way inside of. Boom! So with the fact that we now have the bomb suit in our hands, I can now throw a grenade at the floor like so, and have it go off, and it will only do a very pathetic 11 damage to me. It's merely a tickle of the toes rather than anything we need to worry about. So we're now impervious to things that go boom. But still, most of the game doesn't actually shoot at us with bombs or rockets, mostly bullets. And in order to do that, we would actually need to get our hands onto one extra very special perk. So in order to help ourselves level up, we're going to hunt down the two largest beasts of the region, the skeleton crabble and the raptidon matriarch. So basically the way this mission is going to work is we're going to make a large amount of noise to summon the skeleton crabble. And after a bit of rumbling, our big crabbly friend is going to arrive. Let's see them. Where are they? There they are. And let's immediately blow up those barrels and get hurling grenades. Yes, I can slow down time and begin the glorious repeated overarm wanging that comes only from hurling the finest plasma grenades. Have a grenade. You have another one as well. And you up there. Catch. So there we go. All the enemies defeated thanks to the magical power of a big explosive boom. Right, now time to see if the Raptidon Matriarch can do any better against my explosions. And there we go. She is now gone. What an easy fight indeed. And with those two beasts slain, we're now very close to achieving level 10, which is exactly what we need in order to grab our next perk of makeshift armor that we will need to destroy this game. The reason why we need this is quite simple. Allow me to demonstrate. We've maxed out our damage resistance by having a large amount of money. However, that doesn't mean we can actually survive very well. With all of the extra damage resistance we have, I can run straight into the enemy base, see a bunch of enemies, and lo and behold, if I take a single hit, that takes out about a quarter of my health. This plasma gun does the same, and I'm dead. So of course, we need to make Dr. Splosion more powerful, but for that we need level 10. So we've got to do a few more quests to get some experience before then, and that's where this lovely settlement of Westport comes into the picture. This is a classic protectorate settlement that has been ever so slightly decimated by an Anti's Choice bombing that has resulted in approximately half of the city being flooded. Now our mission is quite simple. Convince everyone who lives here to leave. We make this environment completely uninhabitable. We've already began with step 1. We've poisoned the water pumping station, making it now impossible to safely drink anything. And now we're about to take over their radio station and pump it full of Anti's Choice propaganda. Perfect. I'm sure they're all going to love a good bit of corporatist magnificence. So by pumping propaganda into the system, some of the local population are now starting to consider that they'd like to move on over to the settlement of Westport. Propaganda and poisoned water isn't enough. These are things that could potentially be fixed. What can't be fixed is what I'm about to do over here. We're going to blow up the generator, the only thing giving power to this settlement and keeping those fine folks alive. Yes, we simply drop in through the window, find this lovely generator, and well, we can simply plant some explosives. Yes, this does not bode well for the settlement's long-term prospects. Whoopsies, it's all gone boom. Right, next up we need to convince the medical officer in order to leave, and I can offer her a case of Anti's Choice medical supplies. There we go, that'll make her happy. And she's now happy to move, provided I can convince the mayor, which shouldn't be too difficult, considering I have now made this entire area uninhabitable. Now this gentleman is a noble leader. He's happy for everyone to leave the settlement, and he'll stay behind to face judgment. However, we can just say that if he stays behind, he'll be listening exclusively to loudspeaker propaganda day after day, all by himself. And of course, that is more than enough to convince him to leave. So there we go, we've done it, we've convinced all the villagers to leave, and now they'll all be making their way to Fairfield. They'll love it. Yes, capitalism has done it again. Okay, so we have one main mission left, which is to infiltrate the Vox Relay and get conquering it. But before then, we have a final opportunity to make experience, which is to attack a protectorate training base. This is the only thing that stands in the way of Dr. Splosion and leveling up, and he's got more than enough grenades for the lot of everyone. Oh, we've got a lot of turrets. Very exciting. Luckily for me, I have myself a spicy SMG. Oh, look, there's a Dragoon. Right, quick, let's hit it with some grenades. And we'll get that tower down, get that Dragoon down. There's another one. Bam, hit it with a grenade. Oh, hello, sir. You can have a grenade too. Have another grenade. Oh, it's so much damage. It's good. Oh, and here comes Arbiter Nebs, the boss of this area. Unfortunately, 2 grenades were enough to defeat him. What a shame. And there we go. That was enough just to level up. Splendid. Alright, we leave this area with a pile full of corpses and level 10 now achieved, which allows me to grab the all-important perk of Makeshift Armorer. We now get +1 armor value to your equipped armor for every 50 bits crafted. This is incredible. So if we check our inventory, we can see that our lovely bomb suit here has an armor rating of 9. However, it could be significantly better, and this is demonstrated by doing a little bit of crafting. So if I decide to make myself some explosive grenades, you'll notice that at the bottom of the screen, a little bar fills up and it says +1. Basically means I gain 1 extra point in the Makeshift Armorer perk. However, if I were to make some distraction devices, because they're seen as being worth a little bit more, I actually get some extra points. I can craft some explosive grenades, and that takes me up to 3. Now up to +4 in the Makeshift Armorer. Compact rounds are really good to make as well. That's rapidly taking us up to 12. Same for the shock rods. I can make some inhaler charges as well that are very effective, and because of my trait of innovative, I actually make 2, which synergizes very well with this perk. So I'm just going to repeatedly make things over and over again, and now I have myself 25 points in Makeshift Armor. So when I check my inventory, yep, the bomb suit now has 34 armor. That's pretty darn good. I can now test this out by dropping down a save and making my way over to the Vox Relay. Let's go see how long they take to kill me now. So in we go. Right now, hit me. Ah, yes, fantastic. Previously, this gentleman was doing significantly more damage. However, I'm now a fair bit harder to kill. The problem is, I am not immortal, and Dr. Splosion deserves to be immortal. So we need to find a way to solve that. Now, as I mentioned, this is a closed-loop game. There's a finite amount of enemies and resources in the actual universe. We can't go out and grind more items than we have available. That's just not an option. However, because we're able to duplicate infinite money thanks to a fridge over there, something magical is able to happen. We can just buy everything from these vending machines. Yes, every vending machine and shop owner refreshes their inventory every few in-game days. Time passing can be achieved by fast traveling, aka pulling off the duplication exploit, meaning I could achieve infinite crafting materials by using the infinite money exploit, allowing me to craft infinite modifications, stacking with the Makeshift Armorer perk to create an infinitely high armor value. So let's see how far I can take it. Now this process is going to take a ridiculous amount of time, and the good news is you don't have to sit through it. I have to do this myself, because evidently I don't value my own free time. So yep, it's time for lots of repeated fast traveling over and over again to the exact same location, refresh inventory, and make money. I'll see each and every one of you on the other side. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I am back after having set up an auto macro to reload the area 1,000,000 times over and then repeatedly jump around to all of the various vending machines on the map, buying absolutely everything that exists to break it down into scrap, to then craft useless items, to then sell, to then break down into more scrap, and repeat the cycle ad infinitum. We finished this cycle with 32,000 bits on our person, which is good. That maxes out our damage resistance, but most importantly, I've done so much crafting, in fact, that our bomb suit here has 682 armor rating. I personally think we are now ready to do the final mission of this area. Dr. Splosion is about to introduce the Protectorate to the true meaning of Splosion. Now we're literally just going to walk into this area and begin the process of hurling grenades at everyone. And you'll notice that occasionally, yes, bullets are indeed hitting me, and I am indeed taking some damage, but here's the thing, it's hardly anything in comparison to what I'm able to dish out. Oh, you have one over there as well, friend. And huzzah, they're all slowly being electrocuted. Oh, you, sir, need a grenade. Catch, come on. And there we go, they're dead. But yes, we are now significantly harder to kill. In fact, it is near impossible to kill us. Our only limitation is that we can't heal in combat, but outside of that minor setback, we're pretty darn good. Now, there is one limitation with my build, and that is that because of the way way damage is calculated in this game, it's technically impossible to completely fully survive and resist all damage. However, we are getting very close. In order to do that, we're going to need one last synergy, which requires one last perk, Hot-Blooded here, which increases the amount of damage that the plasma type does, but also allows us to heal for 5% of plasma damage dealt. Basically meaning if I throw a plasma grenade at someone, they not only die, they also heal me. So it's straight into the Vox Relay we go. Now this is the big boss of the area, Brigadier Montelli. He's kind of gone mad with power, and he started executing his own men. So yeah, he's a little bit crazy, and definitely incredibly hard to kill. But we're not exactly playing fair now, are we? Now Marshal Corbin is so upset by his superior's actions, we're going to be able to convince him to turn on him.
I recognize you.
So basically we need to investigate Montelli's terminal and then make our way through this room, climb up a lift and confront him in the control center. All very exciting. But first we have a few more enemies to deal with. You can have a grenade, goodbye. You can have a grenade, goodbye. No one else? Oh yep, you sir can have a grenade. Goodbye. Oh, you there, you can have a grenade. Catch. And then my beloved companions can deal with the auto turret on the ceiling. Right, so into this little room we go. Oh, two more enemies in here. Hello there, friend. You're dead. And goodbye, other friend. Splendid. We are mighty effective indeed. Right, now let's look at this incriminating evidence. Right, now that we've validated a stolen keycard, we can now use the lift to climb up and fight the final boss. So up we go to the final room where we can clearly see, yes, the evil arch nemesis. So with one final quick use of the auto dock here, we've got ourselves a final boss fight. So we've got Corbin to help us out with this fight against Montelli, who is looking extra spicy. Now we're going to immediately say that we are relieving him of command, which will make him very angry and grumpy. He has insane armor, an insane unique weapon, and will be an absolute nightmare. So I'm going to drop down a bunch of landmines, and oh dear, he appears to have died almost immediately. He's dead. He just took like a near infinite amount of damage from these landmines here. I didn't realize that the landmines were going to do about 500 damage, but more you know, I guess. Okay, well, there we go. We did it. We've saved the day. So after finding a secret keycard, we're able to open up the safe room tucked away inside this control center, which the evil agent 𝙃𝙗 set up. It's full of some money, some extra loot, and most importantly, exposition about where she is. So we're able to look through all of her various important information and leave. So Agent 𝙃𝙗 was so annoyed that I've been tracking her, she has rigged the Vox Relay to take off into the atmosphere and then crash down on top of Fairfield, killing everyone inside of it. Of course, we don't want Fairfield to die. We've put a nice amount of effort into fixing it, so we're gonna blow up Westport instead. Let's go! We removed everyone important who lived there. It's just a few robots who I've been doing some trading with, so nothing will be lost. Quickly, let's get the heck on out. Come on, go, 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 go. Oh, I left my companions behind, but luckily they can phase through doors. Now, as I don't know if I like you being dressed as a bug. Alright, so down we go. Here we go. Yep. And so out into Paradise Island we go, and we have successfully escaped the Vox Relay, which will now safely take off and probably cause a few problems. Yeah, there goes Westport. RIP. Good thing no one was there. Still, we've saved the day and we're kind of a mega hero. We've completed every single quest in the area and we've become an unkillable god. That's pretty good if you ask me. So with the first planet cleared, we're now set off on our adventure where the next destination is meant to be Golden Bridge. But this is an open world sandbox, meaning we don't have to stick to the main story. No, instead we can go to Free Market Station and find the wonderful Fiona F. Walker, who after some negotiation will give us access to the Jackpot hammer here. The weapon is effectively a slot machine attached to a hammer, with the nice tagline that crime doesn't pay, but now violence does. If you hit an enemy 3 times, the slot machine activates and spins. If you're able to match at least 2 of the reels, you get a payout. If you match all 3, well, that's a big jackpot. And if we fast travel all the way back to the start of the game on Eden, we're able to head to a target range that will give us an unlimited stream of targets that are technically classed as enemies, which means unlimited money. Because by hitting this target with my hammer, the first light activates. I can then hit it a second time, the second light activates, and then with a third, we activate the spinning jackpot. And you'll notice that it spins away in the top right, but unfortunately we got no matching slides. So if I attack for another 3 times, we spin the wheel once more, and that's a minor jackpot. We hit again, spin the wheel, and my goodness, ladies and gents, that's a jackpot. 3 Moonman heads is 500 bits. So yes, if you've lost the will to live, you can quite simply stand here and spend your entire day hitting this exact same target over and over again, endlessly farming jackpots. Now, if the hammer alone wasn't enough for you to fall in love with the wonderful Fiona, you'll be pleased to know the second item she offers is even better. We've now got our hands on the new Point of View Mark II, the ultimate weapon. Now, what this helmet does is it applies a lovely pixel arty aesthetic to the game. It is to emulate the classical feeling of playing an old arcade game. It's great, and just like an arcade game of old, if you do die, you can just always insert more coins to continue, and that's exactly what we're able to do. Because yes, eventually we're going to be killed here, hopefully. Come on, please, can you kill me? I'm standing right next to you. So yes, eventually we're going to finally get dropped. However, death isn't the end. We can just insert 2,000 bits, which for us is nothing, and continue. We get straight back up again, and the fight continues. The only issue is we now get an extra 50% damage resistance, meaning we take even less damage than before. So yes, if I really wanted to, I could just continue fighting, or in my case, hurl more grenades at the enemy. Sir, you could really do with a few of these. Yes, I'm afraid we are just quite simply a god who turns everything into a fine red mist. For the purposes of my well-being though, we're not going to be wearing that helmet unless it looks like I'm about to lose a fight. So we've now got ourselves a perfect way of shrugging off death and turning it actually into more power. But what if we had a way of converting our explosions into life? Yes, think of ourselves like some kind of grenade vampire. And in order to pull this off, we simply need to make our way to Golden Ridge. So down onto the planet we go. Welcome to Golden Ridge, ladies and gents, where once again the lovely people of Auntie's Choice are unfortunately at war with the Protectorate, who have just launched a very cool missile onto that base. Oh dear, oh dear. That's not good for our friends at Auntie's Choice, but well, you can't have everything. Right, so here we are at the lovely Matriarch's Mercy, and if I just hop my way through this environment, we have the bounty terminal. There we go, let's look up some local bounties. And this gentleman here, Jan Dunsany, is the man we're after. Oh, sorry, I mean lady we're after. Yes, unlike her brothers, Jan appears to bear some vestige of duty from her prior life in the Protectorate. Unfortunately, this is manifested in a hatred for the Order. Oh, how very exciting. So yes, we're going to hunt this individual down. So we have our mission objective. All we need to do is walk 700 meters vaguely in this direction and slay this region's most prominent criminal threat. So after a chance encounter with a mega mantisaur, we find our way to Jan Dunsany, who, yep, is right here. Incredible. Right, now's the time to switch to our glorious strategy of throwing out loads of grenades at things. So there you go, you can have a grenade. That's a big scrapper dragoon. There you go, have a couple of these, friends. You're gonna want some as well. And then yes, we need to actually find Jan Dunsany herself and yeet loads of grenades at her. There you go, catch all of these, love. You're doing great. Come on, keep it up. And unfortunately, I think you're about to go down. Come on. No, don't run around. It makes it harder for me to kill you. Go catch that, get stunned, and goodbye. Splendid. With that, we get to steal her key. Oh, and we've got some enemies here, all of whom would like some grenades. Oh, there's another one of you. Sir, please go down. You look like one of the few ones remaining. I've got you. Splendid. They're all dead. We are going to technically still be fighting, but we're only here for one thing, and that's this right here, the bomb suit helmet. The single most insane overpowered item in the entire game. The bomb suit helmet has one unique modifier, the lit fuse. Dealing explosives damage grants temporary health. Well, we can combine this with the pitchball machine that fires explosive damage, target this enemy here, and yeet. By killing them, you'll notice my health bar gets that lovely little extra bar in the bottom left. This is technically me healing. I will never ever need to heal again. I have quite simply evolved past that point. Yes, it really is that easy. We have now just completely destroyed the game with the power of infinitely replenishing health pools. So let's go find some enemies to test it out on. Oh look, some scrappers, some lovely classic banditos. Quick, come on, take some grenades from me, friend. You're gonna love them. There we go. So that gentleman detonates, adding to my health pool. So does that gentleman. You're going to get a bit of stunning and you're dead. Right, and at level 12 we're now able to finally pick up the Incendiary Chef perk. This now allows us to craft volatile grenades, as well as giving us a few of them to use. The way these grenades work are quite simple. Once activated, the fuse is started. They do significantly more damage than base grenades, but because the fuse begins when you have them in your hands, it's technically possible for us to turn our character into a walking bomb. So hello there sir, it's nice to see you. I'm going to light this fuse, and unfortunately there's not much you can do. If you stand near me, you will die. Right, and now if I can get all of these enemies to stand close to each other, which it looks like I can, I'm going to light this grenade and stand here. And just like that, a lot of people unfortunately died under tragic circumstances, along with you. Friends, come stand with me. It is a glorious day to be my friend. Let me just quickly hold this and light the fuse, and goodbye. You're all gone. Oh, it feels absolutely filthy. That is the only way I can describe this. It is the single filthiest way of playing the game. So let's go claim the reward for our lovely bounty. With this, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's pretty clear to say that Dr. Splosion now has completely and utterly broken the game. From this point on, we can no longer take damage, because any damage we do is immediately converted into excess health, and whilst enemies might shoot or throw grenades at us, we resist 100% of explosive damage and roughly 90% of anything else. If in the rare chance that we were actually close to being downed, we can then just pop on the new point of view Mark II helmet and pay 2,000 bits to respawn in with even more damage resistance. What an absolutely absurd way of playing a video game. I love it. You have become Death, destroyer of worlds. We've done a great job. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's pretty clear that we have successfully broken this entire game, and there is nothing more that the game can do to stop us. It's fantastic. Now, I realize there's one gentleman who we haven't said goodbye to today, and that's none other than Minister Milverstreet. It would be wrong not to give that lovely top hat wearing businessman the send-off he deserves, and so I'm going to lovingly place 120 landmines right here. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, commenting, liking, you name it, and of course an extra special thank you to the members of our YouTube channel and our Patreons for funding all of this nonsense. You're all amazing. Anyway, I'll see each and every one of you in the next one. Have a wonderful day, and goodbye for now.